So when I was learning French, no one actually told me how different Quebec French and French are from each other.
Et ça, je suis quand même un peu fier de moi parce qu'on est vraiment accro au café.
But don't worry, because today we'll be giving you some awesome techniques so that you can feel comfortable understanding the style of French. Also, when we're referring to French, we really mean metropolitan French, because even within France, there's a bunch of different regional differences. In this video, we'll first understand the differences between Québécois and metropolitan French, then identify some patterns, learn the difference in vocabulary, try deciphering a movie clip, and then also learn about the role of anglicisme in Québécois. But first, in order to do this, I have to call our resident Québécois French junkie, Teddy, who's usually behind the computer editing these videos.
Hey Kritika, and hey fluent viewers, or do we have a cute name for our audience?
We don't, so maybe if someone has a suggestion, they can let us know. The first step to understanding this dialect is really identifying the differences between Québécois and metropolitan French. These differences can be categorized as differences in vocabulary, grammar, and accent. For example, there's a lot of older expressions in Québécois, like saying à cause que instead of parce que, or saying des souliers for shoes instead of des chaussures. A common grammatical difference can be seen in a sentence like this: Je vais acheter une chemise dont j'ai besoin, which is metropolitan French. But in Québécois, it would be something like Je vais acheter une chemise que j'ai besoin.
And there's another one that also sounds kind of anglicized, which is instead of saying ce que, like you would in metropolitan French, they often say qu'est-ce que. Je ne sais pas ce que je ferai ce soir. In Québécois, you would say je ne sais pas qu'est-ce que je ferai ce soir.
Very cool. Okay, so let's start by watching a video that's relatively easy to understand. And what I want you to do is identify some patterns that you observe in accent and pronunciation.
Le premier conseil a un peu rapport avec mon bon verre d'eau. C'est que j'ai de beaucoup réduit ma consommation de caféine. Et ça, je suis quand même un peu fier de moi parce qu'on est vraiment accro au café.
So take a second to gather your thoughts, and then me and Teddy will kind of share what we noticed. Okay, so Teddy, some things I noticed were that there were a lot of words that were diphthongs. So fier was pronounced like fier. And I also noticed that there was a variation in the R. So in metropolitan French, I've only heard the throat R sound. But in this video, I heard both that one and also kind of the English sound.
Yeah, so first on the diphthong, I get the sense that in Old French, they used to always pronounce that diphthong in fire, those two vowels, and then père would just sound completely different. But over time, it's changed in both languages. So metropolitan French, they've both gone to that e sound, faire, père. But in Québécois French, almost the opposite has happened. Now they say fire, mon père, etc. So that is definitely something to look out for. About the R, you're right, that they do use that kind of throat, typical French R, but there is also a sound that sounds kind of like the English R. It's used on words like un peu or quelqu'un. In Québécois French, those are pronounced as un peu or quelqu'un or something like that. So that's another thing to look out for. And something you didn't mention, but is also interesting, is that ça isn't pronounced with that long ah, like it is in metropolitan French, but more so with a se, almost like the French e or the English sound.
Oh wow, okay, those are really interesting. Something else I noticed for the consonants was that the D and the T sounds are more like d and t.
Yeah, that's totally correct.
So as you can see, there's a lot of differences in the two dialects, so I would recommend making a pass-through, watch a video once, and really try to understand the speaker's speaking style and their accent, and that way you can fall back on these patterns in case you're ever confused.
You really don't have to remember all these rules right now, because these are things that you'll pick up naturally the more you're exposed to Québécois French. But I'm going to say two more that I think are important for you to know moving forward, that are very common. One is that typically that French sound en that you find in souvent might be pronounced as souvent. Similarly, you have moi changing to more of a moins, or toi to toi. It's kind of almost an E accent aigu. For example, in metropolitan French, you say something like Qu'est-ce que tu penses vraiment de moi? But in Québécois French, it would sound something a bit more like Qu'est-ce que tu penses vraiment de moi?
So I know that's a lot of information, and I don't know if you've ever tried using YouTube closed captioning for Québécois, but it really doesn't work.
That's what's so great about Fluent U is that there's actually a lot of Quebecois content that comes with subtitles. So not only are there videos actually teaching you how to speak Quebecois French, but also trailers and other videos so you can really immerse yourself.
That way, you'll also learn regional terms like blonde in Quebecois means girlfriend, and you'll get the definition in context. So there's a link to a free 2-week trial in the description, and we really can't recommend it enough.
Allô tout le monde, je suis super contente de vous retrouver pour la vidéo de cette semaine. J'ai pris un petit 2 semaines de pause de vidéo dans les dernières semaines comme je vous avais dit et cette semaine je vous reviens en force avec une vidéo que je suis tellement excitée de faire.
Wait, did I just hear excité? So I'm guessing the words in Quebecois are often really different from Metropolitan French then?
Yeah, they're not always really different, but there are definitely some key differences that you should keep in mind.
Okay, that's interesting because when I was doing research for this video, it seemed to me that there's a lot of words that are considered to be old or outdated in Metropolitan French that still exist in Quebecois. And people were saying that's because the government is working hard to protect the French language in the province.
Exactly, and it also comes from the fact that Quebecois French and Metropolitan French were obviously very similar at the time of colonization. But since then, they've had a long time to develop their own expressions for certain phrases to go in and out of style, with a whole ocean in between the two countries. So you're right, expressions like ma blonde to mean my girlfriend, or à tantôt to mean à bientôt would seem pretty ancient to Metropolitan French speakers, but are still in common use. And there's even an interesting phenomenon where older terms are used to refer to newer things. So if you look at the word un char in Quebecois French, that refers to a car, but in Metropolitan French, it refers to a chariot. So it sounds very weird to hear like, oh, I'm just gonna drive my chariot to the store.
Yeah, and Fluent U also has some blog posts that explain all the vocabulary differences, so I'll link them below if you're curious for more. So, Teddy, are there any other techniques that you want to give to our viewers at home?
Yeah, here's another tip that you're probably used to in Metropolitan French, but unfortunately it's a much bigger thing in Quebecois French, and that is the shortening of words and phrases. In this video, she says petit instead of petit, and that's just the easy example. If you look at other phrases like à cette heure becomes à cette heure, or even something like ça fait que becomes fac. So if you don't know what a word is in Quebecois French, you might just need to parse out the individual sounds, and it could be a phrase or expression you already know.
Okay, with that great tip, let's watch a movie clip from the movie that we just showed you and try to see if you can use what you've learned so far to fill in the blanks.
Elle est peut-être mieux d'adopter. Il y en a beaucoup les enfants qui sont dans la misère. Elle est peut-être mieux d'adopter. Il y en a beaucoup les enfants qui sont dans la misère.
Okay, so for this first part, we have a subject, we have a conjugated verb, and the adverb mieux. So whatever will fit in this blank is going to be a filler or a particle. The sound we heard was something like peut, and this is actually option C, peut-être.
For the second question, we have the phrase il y en a beaucoup de something, qui sont. If we just listen to the word, it sounds kind of like option A, enfin, but that wouldn't make grammatical sense here. There are a lot of finally who are something. Instead, we need to look for the noun, and in this case, the noun is be, enfant. But remember, in Quebecois French, it does sound more like enfin.
For the third part, remember how we talked about diphthongs? So to figure out this word, try replacing the diphthong with some standard French vowels. So I heard misère. Try replacing the aïe with e. Then you get misère.
Dépenser de l'argent même. Pour certains, être créateur de contenu, c'est la job la plus nice au monde. Mais faut pas oublier que c'est pas fait pour tout le monde. Comme l'entrepreneuriat. J'ai eu beaucoup de plaisir de vivre de ça, mais ça a été aussi un moment ultra stressant.
So in this video, kind of opposite to what we said about Québécois preserving its French, I actually heard some anglicisme. He said, la job plus nice du monde.
Yeah, you're totally right. And it's interesting to see which words are anglicized in Quebecois French versus Metropolitan French, because it's not always the same words. There's actually a historical reason for this. Before the 1960s, Quebecois French would pick up a lot more of these English words, saying things like mon chum to mean my friend. Whereas in France, obviously, they're not as close to English-speaking countries, and it's not as much of a bigger cultural thing. But then, in the 1950s, 1960s, there was this big historical event, I'm sure you've heard of it, Critica, the Quiet Revolution, where the Quebecois started to really fight for their sovereignty and protect their language. So from that point onward, whereas the French people would take more English words like le weekend, the Québécois would almost translate these into French, literally. So it'd be la fin de la semaine.
And would you say these anglicismes are more official, or are they kind of like code switching? And code switching, for those of you who don't know, is basically when someone speaks more than one language and they switch back and forth between the two very naturally. And this totally depends from speaker to speaker.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it varies as much from person to person as it does in code switching. I think the English does come across as more informal, so there are certain situations in which you'd use it, but also these words are pretty codified into the language. So one example is that if you want to say something's fun, you would say c'est le fun, but you wouldn't say c'est fun or c'est du fun. That would almost sound wrong or weird. So I would say it's more of a part of the language.
And I guess the other thing that I was reading was that formal Québécois is basically the same as Metropolitan French. So I'm guessing that these anglicismes wouldn't come up then in written settings or formal situations.
Yeah, that's right. They tend to be a bit more informal, but in formal speech, the vocabulary is the same between the two. The accent might pose a problem for Metropolitan French speakers, but I mean, it's still the same language.
Yeah, and do you know any other common anglicisms in Québécois? I know we went over a couple.
Yeah, another one, I listen to a lot of Québécois music and I highly recommend. And if you listen to interviews, they'll talk about une tune instead of une chanson or un morceau. They have those words as well, but it's like a slang term again.
Awesome. Maybe I'll have to check out Québécois music then. Well, we covered a lot in this video, but just so you know, the only way to really understand Québécois is just to watch more videos until your brain gets used to the accent.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of French speakers typically avoid Québécois because it kind of has a bad rap, but I see it as almost the underdog of the Francophone world. So there's a lot of really good content, film, music, TV shows that it would be really worth checking out, and Fluent U would be a great platform to do that with.
Well, Teddy, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I had a really fun time having a guest on the French channel. And if you like this video, be sure to check out our previous video on French pronunciation mistakes to avoid. That way you can clear up all your knowledge on the Metropolitan French accent as well. And we've actually included a free PDF below of all of the things we covered in this video, so you can refer to our tips anytime.